That's really encouraging, actually. I figured at this point in the day you'd all be dropping off on me. I'm also going to ask you to bear with me. They say when you're in Rome, do as the Romans do, and last night over drinks I tried to do as the Finnish do. It surprisingly didn't work out too bad. I'm here today. But I work in marketing and public relations, and come on guys, I evangelize what you guys do so that we can all make money off of it. But something that's really interesting, probably one of the biggest fumbles in marketing or public relations, is something Edelman pulled a few years ago, which I'm sure you're all aware of, the big blogging scandal with Walmart and whatnot. But when that happened, something changed in the corporate world, because these were big brands. And what changed was that corporations, one, signaled that they were willing to let go some control, and two, they now had a huge mistake to learn from, which means that they were that much more willing to embrace it. And what I'm talking about specifically is, well, social media. They're willing to let go some control to the consumer, because they found out there's a huge ROI when they do that. And now that's a fait accompli. Every major brand is like, we want to get out there on YouTube, and we want to get out there on Facebook, and we want to build our own communities, and we want to be sexy. So that package is sold, and it's a done deal. And now corporations are interested at looking inward. How can we take this same culture that was so powerful in terms of selling products, and how can we use that same ethic and those same business practices to run our organization, to interact with our employees? Well, there's a number of different ways that this has happened. On the culture side of things, you see networking in unconferences. Now execs who used to fly all over the world, go to expensive conferences, are just getting together for drinks with local geeks and developers and other marketers to talk things up. And on the technology side, big corporations who used to really be into proprietary technology, where they always had dial-in support, where they're willing to look at things like open source. They're willing to look at web-based apps. And it's not too far off. I think BlackBerry being the standard mobile piece of technology for corporate America and corporate Western world is going to change, because all phones are smartphones now. And I don't need an email client built into my mobile in the same way that BlackBerry does it. But there's other uses for this type of technology. In the areas of management, in the areas of marketing, in the areas of productivity, in the areas of business development, and in the areas of networking. You know, in management, people are starting to, you see internal blogs happen. It's a good way to interact with employees, to get employees interacting with one another. In the areas of marketing, you see a lot of crowdsourcing, community management, community building. In productivity, a lot of this technology is being used for brainstorming and planning. Business development, that's completely changed. You know, it's not about buying a list of leads anymore. You get out there and you network within community, and that's how you do it. And even networking itself, obviously this has changed because of social media, social networks. So what I want to ask you guys to think about is I want to ask you to think about how can, you know, corporations, ones that are very big into management and productivity, use these technologies to manage themselves internally. Now, you guys all have experience with this. You're currently using open source tools and social media to manage your productivity. Well, how's that going to work on an organizational level? Every day we go to work, well, some of us, we sit at a desk and we fire off emails, and it's becoming more difficult to convince people to come into that lifestyle. More and more, everyone's a consultant, and they want to work remotely. So how are we going to use these tools to do that? So what I'm going to do, before I let go of control myself, I just like hogging the stage. I'm a glutton for attention. I want you to think about areas of management. Like, how are we going to take social media beyond an internal blog or beyond an internal wiki? Also, project management. Developers use developer wikis where you have track changes. You can see how code's changed and evolved. That's really cool. Is there any other project management uses for technology like that? In the areas of productivity, how are we going to change brainstorming? Like, how many of here use Outlook? Okay. After using Gmail, how frustrated are you that all your Outlook messages aren't grouped into conversations? Yeah, there you go. You sound constipated though. But also on the planning stage, how are we going to use social media to do that? And finally, what is the mobile worker going to look like? Are they still going to be using BlackBerries? Are they going to be using mobiles that are smartphones and just use web-based apps? Because now you don't have to pack up your phone's memory with actual files. You can send, little data packets and then open Google Docs. So turn in amongst yourself, share your frustrations about proprietary technology and old school organizational practice, and try to evangelize. Try to think about how you would talk, I don't know, Bill Gates into doing something interesting, or McDonald's into mobilizing their employees. Go for it, guys.
I don't know if we came up with any kind of concepts here. Really, we were discussing very widely about organizations and how they can benefit from social technologies here. We started to talk about let's think about how do you actually adopt these technologies. Top down, like everyone use blogs as we do. Or like the traditional IT department approach that they design and implement and roll out some kind of training program, and then everyone hates the whole thing because it's not made by them, but it's designed by someone else, how they are going to work. Or rather, some kind of organic growth approach where we start organically, where people actually are going to use these things and get the benefits early adopters. And just, use something like envy or something in the coffee tables. Oh, you are tired, you've been traveling around the world. While I've been, using online collaboration technologies and got 5 times more work done because of this. So that could be one way to bring it on. We're discussing IT department. The IT department is a huge problem in organizations. A lot of time goes into discussing or coming up with strategies how you can actually fool those IT department guys that you can actually do these things. We all know that. So the meaning of IT needs to change. It's not anymore about information technology, where some department controls information, thinks how it travels from system A to B and how it's controlled, but rather something like interaction. So imagine an IT department that is focusing on making interaction more easier. So they are trying actually to help you to do business, to interact more than before, rather than trying to control the information in those pipes. We were discussing weak links that when we are working on ideas for teams, usually according to research at least, weak links among the team is more important oftentimes than the strong links. Strong links are those people know that each other. They are working in a team, let's say in a room with post-it notes, while usually those social media guys are actively Googling and searching and tagging and those things, and they're getting weak links from people from different organizations, different cultures to discuss those things. So it's about giving away control, and it's mainly about